the Bhagavad Gita. We're going to continue from where we left off. In the last video, we stopped at chapter 4, shloka 25, for the reason of Shri Krishna practically laying out all of the practices within Sanatana Dharma. In a true masterclass, as the Bhagavad Gita always does, as Shri Krishna always does, not only in terms of philosophy, but as a manual for your life to live out your dharma, to live out your purpose. The Bhagavad Gita has it all. And here, Sri Krishna will list out different forms of sacrifices that the individual can make. Now, sacrifices is the term that he uses, but here practically it is just a bunch of different practices within the scope of yoga, within the scope of Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma to become a better person. Now, without further ado, on screen I'm going to have translations directly from this book. And yeah, let's start. Chapter 4, Shloka 25. Some yogis perform sacrifices to devas alone, while others offer the self as sacrifice by the self, barely in the fire of Brahman. Already, we have the dual and the non-dual. The dual, we have conventional understanding of what Sanatana Dharma Hinduism is. You go to the Murti, you have Durga, you have Shri Krishna, you have Lord Shiva. You make offerings to those deities, and the understanding that there is a position, a superior entity, and I retain my ego and I'm here, and this localization of separation is there. And on the other hand, you have the self as sacrifice by the self, the complete purification of the ego, the understanding that if you're giving to the self by the self, that there is something beyond this identity, that there is something beyond this temporary life that you have, and that is the fire of Brahman, the ultimate consciousness that encompasses all of creation, that is formless, beginningless, and endless. And Sri Krishna says both in equal weight, that some do this and others do this. All depends on you. Shloka 26. Some offer hearing and other senses as sacrifice in the fire of restraint, while others offer sound and other sense objects as sacrifices in the fire of the senses. The difference between a silent meditation and one that requires some type of vocalization. Something like mantra japa. Conventional understandings of meditation, you close your eyes, you sit cross-legged, and then you sit perfectly still in a silent area. Perfectly fine. That is the restraint of all the senses and the inquiry into the self that is beyond an externalization. What do you find when you look inside? That is what that is supposed to do. The focus on a singular point, on a singular idea, that which reveals the true nature of who you are. Now, others don't necessarily need to do that. Others find it better that they have the japa. They could say the mantra out loud, or they keep repeating it in their head. They have different activities that they do, something that a vocalization, some type of hearing, some type of sight, some type of focus on a yantra, something that focuses a singular sense, and that all the other senses of this, as this shloka says, a sacrifice to the other senses as well. And all of those are perfectly within the realm of the yoga that is being achieved here. Shloka 27. Others again offer all the actions of the senses and the functions of the life energy as sacrifice in the fire of self-control, kindled by knowledge. And this is where we have the jnana yoga, this understanding that all of the senses and all of the life energy, everything that is put into you that creates you, is put into discernment and understanding. The focus is in that of the truth, of that of decoding the universe. Truly, in my opinion, this is probably one of the hardest ones to do, this jnana yoga on its own, because constantly, again and again, what does Sri Krishna always emphasize? He emphasizes the need for action, and then we'll continue to see this motif of act still. with the understanding of the knowledge that they gain to get a full understanding and a full realization of the knowledge in and of itself. Yet others offer wealth, austerity, and yoga as sacrifice, while still others of self denial and extreme vows offer sacred duty and knowledge as sacrifice. Now, this shloka is saying that there's a gradient of some people want to do normal things, give a little money, do a little yoga, do these things. Other people want to do things more extreme. They want to do the Raja yoga, they want to do extreme fasting, extreme meditation. All of that is up to the individual and completely fine for everyone because everybody lives in a gradient of what they can handle in the lifetime. If they can offer wealth, they can offer wealth. If they can offer themselves and their absolute dedication and their absolute extreme ability, then they can. All of these things are available to the human being in all of the different facets of what a human being can be, as long as one does it with the utmost sincerity. It is all accepted in the uplifting of the self. Yet others offer as sacrifice the outgoing breath in the incoming, and the incoming in the outgoing, restraining the flow of the outgoing and incoming breaths, solely absorbed in the regulation of the life energy. Shri Krishna talking about pranayama. All the different ways to breathe, to control the self, to understand the self. Amazing practices like Nadi Shuddhi, right? Alternate nostril breathing. Breathing in, hold, alternate the nostril, breathe out. Breathe in through the same nostril, hold, out through the other nostril. Repeating that again and again. Another practice that I really like is Bhastrika Pranayama. This very aggressive breath of fire, it's called. It really regulates you if you're coming from an excited position, a very rajasic position. This belly breathing, to breathe out, you contract the stomach. And the breathing in is actually the automatic inflation of the stomach. You don't have to consciously breathe in and out. It's you pushing the breath out from the stomach and the breath naturally filling in the gap when the stomach expands. This amazing practice that one can do to completely regulate and calm someone down from a heightened state. It's it's awesome. You'll feel completely zenned out when you do it. It's awesome. Some people might be more might get more active from it. It's up to the individual to experiment and to use it appropriately for them. Everyone has a different body, a different mind, so everything kind of affects an individual differently, and it's up to you and it's up to you to experiment and to properly deploy these techniques to best fit your circumstances and needs. Still others of regulated food habit offer in the pranas the functions thereof. All these are knowers of yajna, having their sins destroyed by yajna. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on this because I don't like how certain individuals categorize food. If you want a more meditative experience, if you want a more calm mind, if you want to be able to do meditation for a very long time, eating sattvic food prepares you for that. If you want to be more active, if you're lifting weights, if you're going to work, if you're doing uh, different activities on a normal day-to-day basis, no, rajasic food is good. It's all a matter of context and where you are and what you're doing because food doesn't exist in this vacuum. It exists in the context of what you put in is what you get out. That's what sattvic food, rajasic food, and tamasic food is. Not this, oh, you have to eat sattvic food, you have to cut away onions and garlic. Absolute nonsense. You want something based on the activities that you're doing, not on this blind idea of what goodness is, what passion is, and what darkness is. It is a complete it's completely ignorant to just look at something plainly without looking at the context. And those who regulate the food habit, Sri Krishna says regulate the food habit, right? He's not saying just slam and go all the way through, right? He's saying regulate. The eaters of the nectar, the remnant of yajna, go to the eternal Brahman. This world is not for the non sacrificer. How then the other, O best of the Kurus? This world is not for the non sacrificer because sacrifice is inherent in the nature of existence. Everything that takes gives, the constant cycle of creation. Various yajnas, such as these, are spread out in the storehouse of the Vedas. Know them all to be born of karma, and thus knowing you shall be free. Everything that you're doing, all of the different practices, everything that is particular to you, that fits you, all these different things. Oh, I like this, I don't like this, and finding all this particularity, it comes from a place. That is the ultimate karma, the cause and effect of all of creation that led you to this particularity in this position at this time right now. Why is it that, oh, you like this and you like that? It's because of that karma. And here, the Vedas are the storehouse of all of that karma. It's the manual. Here's all the different things. Here's like a scientific, in a scientific way, we're just going to list out everything that's possible. Simple. And then from here, using your knowledge, using your discernment, using your understanding of your own karma, as Shri Krishna says, you shall be free. Knowledge sacrifice, O scorcher of foes, is superior to wealth sacrifice. All karma, in its entirety, O Partha, culminates in knowledge. Shri Krishna is doing something brilliant here. Shri Krishna is explaining why you say meditation is not for you. What is the context of this shloka? He just listed out all of the different practices, all the different forms of sacrifice that encompasses yoga, meditation, and the betterment of the self. The reason why someone would say that this broad topic is not for them is not because of the broad topic intrinsically. It's actually because of the knowledge gap, the ignorance within that topic is why someone usually says, I don't know. I don't really want to do that. It's not for me. Meditation, so many different practices, so many different things that one can do. That when one is able to study and understand through knowledge, because all karma culminates in the knowledge, when one understands more and more, they get to identify with particular aspects of something. And they can pick that up and they can become better at that thing and say that, hey, I meditate. Hey, I go to the gym. Oh, I like this sport. Or this aspect of computers I really like. The acquisition of knowledge is the most superior way to understand yourself, to find things that align with you, and to ultimately become a better person. And one can not section themselves off from the benefits of any sector in life. Everything's available to the individual that is curious and willing to learn. Seek that enlightenment by prostrating, by questions, and by service. The wise, the seers into the truth will instruct you in that knowledge. Finding a guru, finding a teacher, finding someone that is qualified within that sector that can properly tell you how to do something. And this is also the problem with in and of itself, that maybe nowadays we do not have proper teachers, and that is kind of falling off. And the reason why people are so disgruntled by certain aspects of this beautiful creation is because maybe we have to start stepping up in terms of individuals that are knowledgeable, that need to actually act on that knowledge to better the society. So what this shloka is primarily saying is to find a guru, to find a teacher that will lead you to the highest. At the same time, I sympathize with those who are confused, because it is harder nowadays in the information age on the internet, that It's a information overload. There's just a lot of false narratives. There's a lot of false things going around, and it just poses more responsibility on the individual to learn different techniques of discernment. Knowing this, O Pandava, you will not again fall into this confusion. By this, you will see the whole of creation, and in yourself and in me. Again, Sri Krishna. He's not like he's he's saying that look, me and you were both here. All this universe, I didn't lie. I said everything is within me, everything is within you. He's inclusive in his teaching. Very good technique when you're trying to help someone understand something. You're inclusive. It's a fault of any instructor to constantly belliger, just constantly berate a student by just saying you, and do this, do that, do that. It's like, okay, let's do something together. Me and you. Even if you be the most sinful of all sinners, yet shall you cross over all sin by the raft of knowledge. Sri Krishna with a very challenging shloka. This shloka really challenges the mind because, for real, the most sinful of all sinners, I can think of some really bad people. But what is the real consequence of this Vedantic knowledge? What does it mean to understand reincarnation and karma? We do not hold anything personally. We understand that knowledge will take us to the ultimate truth, and that we evolve and that we change and that we understand that change. And we recognize it in people in a genuine way. See, understanding the ultimate truth means that you can also see the lie in those who claim that they understand, but they don't. So I'm not going to be too worried about people that are getting passed for free on the raft of knowledge. I wouldn't worry so much about that. When you understand the ultimate truth, you can see the unseen, you can know the unknown, truly can complete their dharma and give out consequences where they so fit. Justice will always happen. This sloka is not excusing any form of unjust action. That is what is actually being said here. As the blazing fire reduces fuel to ashes, O Arjuna, so does fire of knowledge reduce all karma to ashes. Verily, there is no purifier in this world like knowledge. He that is perfected in yoga realizes it in his own heart in due time. The man of Shraddha, the devoted, the master of his senses, obtains knowledge. Having obtained knowledge, he goes promptly to the peace supreme. The ignorant, the man devoid of Shraddha, the doubting self, goes to destruction. The doubting self has neither this world nor the next, nor happiness. With work absolved in yoga and doubts rent asunder by knowledge, O Dhananjaya, actions do not bind him who is poised in the self. Therefore, severing with the sword of knowledge this ignorance-born doubt about the self, dwelling in the heart, he established in yoga. Stand up, O Bharata. Again, Sri Krishna, man, he's keeping it badass. I gotta say it. It's just like, come on, stand up and fight. Do not, there's no need to hesitate. There's no need for any amount of fear. Complete your duty, complete your dharma, because knowledge is the key. And with that knowledge, with this Vedantic knowledge, what is there to ultimately hesitate over? What is there to fear over? Nothing. Do not forget the tangible effect of the Bhagavad Gita. Do not forget the result of this knowledge. Knowledge so potent that a man can go to war and fight. A brutal war. This is not like remote detonation. You're 20,000 miles away, you can blow someone up. No, this is hand-to-hand combat. Knowledge so potent that it can do that. Do not forget the scope of the Bhagavad Gita. The knowledge is here in such that you yourself have no reason, absolutely none, to skip out on what you're made to do in this lifetime. Not saying you got to fight in a physical way, but you got to fight for something. And at least fight for yourself and your purpose. Because there's no reason not to. There's absolutely no reason not to. This is the Hindu Conceptualist, signing out.